It's time to...
The 2020 election is a crossroads for the climate crisis.
We have the biggest election coming up of our lifetime.
We'll choose hope over fear, facts over fiction.
At the ballot box, Americans must choose between building a greener economy with Biden or supporting carbon-intensive industries under Trump. A leader who's labelled man-made climate change a hoax and has ignored our environmental emergency. Let's recap how.
As a climate denier, he has really buried the data on climate change. He has sidelined the experts and the scientists that have been clamoring for American action.
Trump has basically outsourced his energy and environmental policy to polluters, to fossil fuel interests, to the Koch brothers. They now run the show. It's literally, the fox guarding the hen house right now.
If Trump is re-elected, the following day he'll withdraw the United States from the Paris Agreement, the groundbreaking global climate accord signed by nearly 200 nations in 2016.
The Paris Climate Accord is simply the latest example of Washington entering into an agreement that disadvantages the United States.
America withdrawing from the global stage as the largest historical contributor to climate change has the power to trigger a chain reaction of more relaxed climate policies.
Donald Trump sent a signal to the international community that the U.S. is no longer taking its role, its responsibility seriously.
Another 4 years of delay, of moving backwards in the fight against climate isn't just bad for the United States, it's bad for the whole world.
Why? Because the Paris Agreement aims to curb global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Above this global temperature rise, scientists expect more extreme heat waves, severe droughts, forest fires, flooding, and food scarcity.
Once we get beyond about 1.5 degrees Celsius, that's where we really will start to exceed our adaptive capacity, our ability to deal with the impacts as they're playing out.
What we have achieved together is truly without precedent, never happened before.
Over the past 4 years, Trump also initiated an unprecedented number of regulatory rollbacks.
His administration has attacked more than 100 regulations, undermining clean air, clean water, protection of endangered species, and the preservation of some of our natural landscapes.
For example, the administration dismantled the Clean Power Plan, which was intended to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from power plants, emissions that are driving global heating. Its replacement,
Our new affordable clean energy proposal,
is predicted to cause $30 billion in health damages per year, with the most intense impacts felt across the Midwest. Trump also significantly weakened limits on polluting vehicles, whilst blocking California from voluntarily setting higher efficiency standards. They even repealed the Obama-era Clean Water Rule, a regulation that limited the amount of pollution in the nation's rivers, lakes, and wetlands.
His attack on bedrock environmental protection law would continue in a new term.
The administration is committed to pushing forward with drilling for oil in Alaska, as well as supporting the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines, both pumping dirty fossil fuels across the country.
When we invest in this infrastructure, it really locks in place, our dependence on fossil fuels for decades down the road, and we don't even have a decade to get off fossil fuels.
And if he's re-elected, Trump will make such damage harder to reverse by continuing to fill the courts with conservative judges likely to rule on the side of polluting corporations.
We've lost precious time during his first term.
I don't think that we can withstand another 4 years of that direct assault on environmental action.
Wildfires, flooding, and air pollution are waking up everyday Americans to the climate crisis.
People are directly feeling the impacts of climate, and they want their government to institute policies to address it. And the president is woefully out of step with the American public and even with voting Republicans.
If we are to achieve the reductions in global carbon emissions that will be necessary to avert catastrophic warming of the planet, more than 1.5 degrees Celsius warming of the planet, it's clear that the United States will have to take a leadership role. And right now in Donald Trump, we have an individual who has actually set us back.
And so, the choice between Biden and Trump can be framed as the choice between driving off the climate cliff or building climate resilience.